Yeah, you looking for me, you can find me at the barbershop. Pulling up to get a cut, bumping through the parking lot. I keep it clean, Rico's where I'm running to. If you in the city, then you probably gonna be coming to. Gang getting down, Red's getting down, Nick getting down, Ron getting down, just to name a few. Everybody blade on point. You trying to get fresh, I'm telling you this the joint. Hands down, top shop up in this vicinity. Promises age 9, LaRon been getting me. Temper on the side, I'm trying to roll.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the K.O.S. Barber Club podcast, where we discuss the collection of wisdom on the science of everything in life. And we do so by interviewing our guests and seeing where they obtained self-awareness and how they use that to create the self-concept to become the person they are today. And self-concept, I want you to concentrate on that because today's guest is a person that defines self-concept. He's a friend that I've been seeing through Instagram. I've been seeing through the social media pages, and he's just blowing up.
Thank you, bro.
Without further ado, Nick Garcia, a.k.a. Mr.Depinga.
Depinga, it's a pleasure, brother. Thank you for
We got you here
me on.
finally.
Yes, we made it happen.
You know,
Depinga.
sometimes life throws curveballs.
Yeah, no. But one thing, I'm gonna pull up, bro. Mr. Depinga, I'm not. You know, I'm not hard to. You know, if the love is mutual, bro, and I know you rocking with me, and you always been showing me love, Doug. You know, you put it on for the city too. También. You know?
I'm trying.
Yes.
I'm trying to get everybody on.
You're doing your thing, Doug. For real, you really are, brother.
So yeah, when I saw you have this energy. Where'd you get this energy? Let's start from the beginning. When you're a kid, because I always like to start there.
Honestly,
when you first became conscious, when you had the spark.
I guess just really growing up, you know, I'm not going to lie, like at a young age, like, you know, I grew up with like, you know, my dad and my mom, they were together, but they did, which it wasn't a big deal. It never affected me, but they divorced maybe when I was around like 3 years old. So I grew up a lot around my grandparents, and my grandparents were just like, it's not, they're very respectful people, but within the house, you know, they just had that energy of like, you know, it's just like,
and you fed off of that.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. It's like that
Cuban,
Cuban, but it's almost that spice of like, you know, almost like how her and my grandfather, my grandma, and my grandfather used to talk to each other. They weren't sound like they're arguing, but they're not arguing, you know. And just like that energy in the morning, you know, I always seen them. It's so crazy because I always used to rank on my grandparents for drinking coffee. I'm like, wait, why you guys? They would drink coffee all
You thought it was
day.
disgusting.
I was like, yo, it's like 6 o'clock. This is like you guys have gone to the coffee maker like 3 times. And then now it's like full circle. I'm like,
you get it.
I get it now. It's crazy. I become them. But yeah, I feel like the energy comes from them, man. You know, for sure I could attribute it, you know, to like my dad and stuff, but that energy of just being energetic like that from my dad's parents and my mom's parents too, you know.
So you were born and raised here in Miami?
Yes, born and raised here in Miami. Both of my parents, they came from Cuba in the like, you know, mid 80s, and they were like, you know, for the rest of their like teenage years, they became, you know, they were raised here in Miami, Florida.
And where Hialeah?
Kendall. My mom actually had like a crazier story. She, if I'm not mistaken, I can't. My mom's story was that like she was here in Miami for a while, but I think my grandparents, they got a job in Louisiana and they worked in Louisiana, but it was just crazy out there.
You ever been there?
No, I have not been there. I've not been there.
You'll like it, man.
But that's where Mardi Gras goes down, or no?
Yeah.
Yep, there you go. I've been dying to go to Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
That would be sick.
You'll fit right in.
But my mom told me it was wild for my grandparents in Louisiana. They just said it was a crazy time out there. You know, just towards like, you know, Hispanics and blacks, like the people were like mad racist out there. If you weren't like white.
Everybody has their own little pockets.
So they said that it was just like really crazy out there. They said that my grandparents, my mom's parents did that to make the money. They made money and they came back to Miami because that's where all our family was. And that was my mom's story, you know, with her parents. And then my dad's parents, they came. When they left Cuba, they went to Spain, and then they stayed in Spain for like a few months. Okay. And then from Spain, they came to the United States. You know, we have family here, but then my grandfather, he worked at if I'm not mistaken, he worked at like a reta. I know he worked at a Cuban restaurant being a cook.
Certified official Cuban.
And then from there, he went to being a rastrero, working trucks. I remember, like, I used to live like in a neighborhood, like when I was much older, where they lived my whole like life for that time. And he would always pull up in the 18-wheeler truck, like, after work, just like,
Nice.
naked without the bed on it,
And you guys used
So,
to jump on that and play around and all over.
stuff like that, remember memories like that. But yeah, that was that
So
trajectory.
now we're talking about memories. Like, what's your first memory that you remember as a kid?
As a kid.
This episode is made possible by a dear friend of mine whose sponsorship allows us to bring you the highest quality episodes in the business. Our sponsor is CarAccidentAttorney.com. If you've been involved in a car accident and have sustained injuries, don't hesitate to seek assistance. Call 954-FREE-FEE for a complimentary consultation at 954-373-3333. CarAccidentAttorney.com connects you with the right legal experts so you can focus on your recovery while they diligently fight for the compensation you deserve. And remember to always live, laugh, and love.
As a
Peace.
kid, it was like, fuck, I was such a freaking one of those kids that got hurt all the time. So my first memory was like, there's this park in Coconut Grove that my dad used to take me to, and it's super nice. You've probably seen the park. I can't remember it right now.
The one by the elementary school?
It is by a school, and it's like it like dives in, and it's like kind of like it's super nice under trees and
Oh, by the bay.
it's not by the bay, but I know which one you're talking
Yeah.
about. But it's in that area.
Okay.
It's in
got
that area. There's a few parks. You know how there's a lot of
Yeah.
big houses
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And so my dad would take me to hang out there. He'd be there with his friend hanging out. And if I'm not mistaken, I was with my brother, or I wasn't. I can't remember. But I went down the monkey bar, and then instead of like, sliding under. I mean, I went on the slide, and instead of like, how it has like a bar, so like for you to like
Hold on.
yeah, instead of me like tirándome under, I did tirándome under, but before I went under, trancata, I hit my head, and then I remember that, going to St. Nicholas, that's what it's called, right? The Nicholas or Children's Hospital.
Okay.
And that was my first conscious memory.
You remember that?
Yeah. And then
So you got knocked into consciousness, not
yeah,
out.
literally. And I literally, it was like my freaking forehead, bro. I broke, it was bad. It wasn't like it was horrible, but it was pretty bad. Yes, it was pretty bad. I had to get staples.
Wow.
Yeah. So
How many staples?
that I don't remember.
You don't remember. But as a kid, that must have been
But
dramatic.
that I do remember, because
So-
I guess it was a traumatic event, right?
So you think that had a lot to do with your upbringing and self-concept?
Yeah, el tipo este se dio un guacatazo. He's not all the way there.
All right. Well, what year was that?
Bro, I was probably like, that was before I was 7 years old. Because when I was 7 years old, you see, I remember the traumatic events. I broke my fingers. See, they stayed like this.
Wow.
Like, you see, I go like that. So, like, my older brother would, how the basketball hoops that you could fill sand or water in the bottom,
Yeah.
so they don't tip over or whatever. It was my 7th birthday, October 3rd, whatever year it was for my 7th birthday. I can't remember. I can't do the math right now. 2003, I'm sorry. It was 2003 or 2004. Had to have been. And, ¿cómo se llama? He was jumping on it to, like, dunk. And I was like, every little brother wants to do the same thing that their big brother does.
Lord.
I only try it one time, and then the one time I try it, I grab the whole thing. The rim lands on my finger, breaks it. This bone pops straight out of here, and then this.
And it never
this
got it.
nail, if you could notice right quick, like it looks like
Oh.
it formed from all of them, but it stayed like that, and I feel like
So that's interesting, man.
it's a perfect imperfection.
You've had pretty crazy experiences as a young kid.
Yeah, as a young kid for sure.
So you think that altered your state, or that just made you like a little bit more aware of pain, or what?
Yeah, a little more aware of pain. So when I do things, but even though like if you're like, yo, how you a little more aware of pain, and you like, you play around in traffic, which, I don't condone that. If I know I have a lot of young followers, and I know a lot of young people see me like, do my I guess you could say my reports, and sometimes I'll see somebody stopped. If you guys ever see me, like it's a lot of backed up traffic. If I'm asking somebody to hold the phone, do I tell other people to do that and encourage it? I definitely don't. So, I just felt like I had to put, I'm at the perfect place to give a PSA.
You got to be
You
careful.
feel me? So, and definitely is a dangerous thing to do, so, you know. So and there is fans out there that worry about me, and I appreciate y'all, you know. So
Yeah, I've been seeing that. You've been racking up more and more followers.
yeah.
People
So
recognize you. I saw the New York flicks that you were out there, and people were like,
yeah,
"Yo,
bro, they were showing love out there,
that's
bro.
dope."
So
How does
it's
that make you feel?
bro, it's a beautiful thing. Like, you know, talk about like, you know, being like high without being high. You know, you don't need a substance when you
Yeah,
get that.
spiritual high.
Yeah, you know, it's like getting that love, all this stuff that is like I ever like, you know, as a young kid, work like, you know, dreamed of, you know, getting that love or at least the recognition of what I do. You know, so when you see it happen, you know, it feels like yeah,
Surreal.
it feels surreal. Yeah, you know, you don't know you can't I can't explain it to you, you know, but like how it is, it feels like a high, quote
So
unquote,
when
you
you
know.
let's go there. When you were a kid,
hmm
what were the dreams? What were the aspirations? Like,
Bro, I know almost anybody or not anybody could say that, but seeing the Get Rich or Die Trying movie and seeing the 8 Mile movie, that like did something to me.
okay, so how old were you at that age?
That age, that was like around like 8, 9 years old. You
Okay, so
know,
from 7 to 8, you were just, and then all of a sudden you saw this movie,
yeah, I saw the movie.
and something sparked.
You know, I guess like first of all, Eminem, like he did like you know, he had an effect. He had, you know, like
Was that the only person that's ever had like that type of
no,
effect?
it was really more like my dad. So like my dad, I just like I remember it because it was like my dad had like that nine or like the 2000 Acura Silver, and then you know back then was CDs, and then he would always ride around with his binder,
Old school.
and then it would be like you know Ja Rule CDs, 50 Cent CDs, and just like different CDs, you know, and really that's where the love came from. But you know, I just felt like honestly like the not get can I curse?
Yes, of course.
Okay, just making sure. The not give a fuckness,
Yeah.
it comes from like you know, really honestly, like seeing like Eminem, just cause like he would always just like, he's just
Seemed
like
shady.
yeah, he just didn't give a shit, you know.
He didn't, and now he does.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's the same, but
yeah.
I appreciated his awkwardness and his ability to just not give a fuck. You know.
And a lot,
Now he cares.
yeah, a lot of people like when he came up, a lot of people like hated him and didn't like him, and I feel like that right now, which is it's a beautiful thing. I don't want people to understand this. It's not to be understood, you know.
I mean, it's different times. Remember, in those
Yeah,
times, things were a little bit more like not as social. You know what I'm saying? Like his ability to reach masses was second to none
yeah,
because he was a white boy,
true.
and at those times you needed certification. He got certified, so he came with lyrics. He got certified, and he didn't give a fuck. And they were allowing him to do whatever he wanted.
It's just like that was rubbing off bad on some people,
On
you
a
know.
lot of people, man.
Uh,
He showed it in the MTV Music Awards when he had
mhm.
all those people. You see yourself like that in the future with a whole bunch of Mr.Depingas all over the place?
Yeah, bro. But at the end of the day, it's like that's how it's supposed to be,
You
though.
think so?
Like, yeah, bro, you're supposed to make such a big impact. People are supposed to be so influenced by you that they want to be you. What is this all about? And it's not that's what it's all about, but it's like, you know, you want at least if you're putting out like, you know, being if you're putting out the message of being yourself, if they want to be like me, that's cool, but you know, at the end of the day, if people understand me, what I'm trying to tell you is be like yourself. There's people that are going to try to ride waves, they try to do things similar, but to me, imitation is a form of flattery. So
Yeah.
I'm rocking with it all, you know.
Yeah, but like what we're trying to do is the more knowledge of self because I believe once you have knowledge of self, you could get inspired by
A
others,
hundred, a hundred.
right? You could see things occur and you'd be like, okay, and you could implement that into your everyday way of thinking or just actions or goals. But you always have to keep yourself,
A hundred.
you know, your knowledge of self intact.
Facts.
So when you were coming up and you saw the Eminem and you were like, yo, I want to be in that realm. I want to do something like that. What was the conversation you had with self to actually take the first step forward? Like knowing that this is the concept that I want to create for myself.
So basically, like if the pinga did like so, I know you're not asking for the pinga, but like where I came, at least Nick Garcia, the
Yeah, the
artist, right?
build up to Mr.
The
Depinga.
build up was like ciphering. I would always be ciphering, and it happened. It started at school. Really, it started. No, not at school. It started. It started when I was in middle school, yes, but it was like I used to go to a middle school, Paul Bell. I only went for 1 year,
Okay.
and then I went to another middle school called Zelda Glacier. And then when I went there, um, it was other groups of kids that would be freestyling, and then it would just be in like the lunch table, in the morning before you went into class. And then we would all meet up then at Dolphin, and then these are other kids from other schools, high
Dolphin
school,
Mall.
older kids. And then in the back of Cine Bistro, because Cine Bistro's been there for a minute,
Yeah.
the outside part in the back where the stairs are, we used to meet up, and it will be battles, like actually, and then like literally that's where I got my feet wet. I started getting
Got
my
it.
feet wet just battling, and then from there was just like never like really I never went to a studio, but if everything was rap battling, battling people and in ciphers. A young little kid. And no, actually I take it back. The first time that I ever did rap was at my brother and his friends. It was at a house party in Bird Road, and they had like a big speaker with a microphone, and it was like the Shook Ones instrumental, and I was so inspired by Prodigy
Yeah.
at a young age. As a kid, I didn't know any better, and I knew it was because of his name, but I was so inspired by his name, and I liked it so much.
Yeah.
And I was young.
Mhm.
They would call me Young Prodigy. So
Okay.
I rode with that name for a while. But then as I started growing and I was like, oh, I know I'm an artist, started making a switch. It became Nick G. And then from Nick G, I was like, I don't want to
What
be
brought upon the switch?
just because out of respect the Prodigy. That's mad disrespectful.
Nice.
You feel me? Like,
Yeah.
I can't be. I'm not like, you said knowledge of self and knowledge of hip hop too.
Exactly.
I can't be out here. I felt like I can't be calling myself Prodigy. So rest in peace and long live Prodigy. But yeah, no, definitely out of respect. And I was like, I need something that identifies with me. And growing up, I always saw like, I went to Nick G, that was cool. And then when I started dropping music, I wanted Nick Garcia because I really got a lot of pride with my last name, even though it's a generic last name, but that's my last name. And how do you call this? I just wanted to stand out when people saw my stuff. So I was like, yo, I gotta go by Nick Garcia. And
Okay.
and then I saw a lot of artists that were like being like little this or like, or
Yeah, you didn't want to
young.
follow trend.
Yeah, so
Real name, no gimmicks.
and my real game, I have two last names, but I'm not gonna give my full government now.
All right, so then, okay, middle school you were battling. High school, I'm sure you were doing the same.
Yep, high school was the same thing. I didn't. I was dropping like went to like my first studio session. Shout out my homie Andre the Tipper. He is an artist as well. Um, he's always dropping music, and he had a studio in his house. I paid him for some studio time. I went to his house. My dad used to drive taxi. I asked my dad, can you take me to this
Old
guy's
school
house?
taxis.
Yeah, bro.
Before the Uber.
Yeah, the yellow ones, bro, with the 444, and
They always smell weird.
they
I hated taxi. I always got
Right,
inside a
yeah.
taxi, and I'm like, why does it
always
always
smell
smell
like
like
the trees, right? What
it
is
smells
it?
weird, man? I didn't like it.
At least with my dad's taxi, I know it smelled like some loud. People would always be like, "Well, sir, it smells nice," so yeah, with the homie Andre, I literally went. I got dropped off at his house with my dad, and that's when I was like probably like 15, 16. Recorded a track, put it on SoundCloud. Didn't really pay no mind to it. You feel me? And then really like when I had dropped out of like high school in 10th grade, which wasn't a great decision. I don't encourage that, but it was my life trajectory and what happened just because of like
Why'd you? Okay, take us there. Why'd you do that?
just like I wasn't a bad kid. I wouldn't get in trouble, but I was just like I just wasn't like
Your energy was too much for that.
yeah, and not that school was a bad place to be at. I wasn't focused on it, and like my dad would want to keep me there and stuff like that, and it wasn't on him. I just when I was that young, I really didn't. Unfortunately, I didn't care, and it wasn't. And I feel like it's cool to care too. So. But you
Gotta
gotta
have
follow.
self care, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Because like for instance, if it wasn't for sports, I would have dropped out too.
Yeah.
The only reason I ever went to school was to be able to play
Because you used to play football,
soccer.
sick.
So
sick.
I wasn't there to like let me mingle and let me learn. Like
Yeah, cause like low key, for me at least, I felt like I kind of missed out. I was like, even though like a lot of my friends, but I was like, damn, everybody went to like prom and shit like that, and I was like,
yeah, but it's
damn.
overrated.
But
dude.
maybe
Like,
it was, so and like at the end of the day, I still did make a lot of great memories, And as you know, if you grew up in Miami,
Yeah.
like as a young teenager, bro, at least me, bro,
You had fun, trust me.
I grew up in Kendall, bro, and I had a lot of fun.
You didn't miss out on no prom. They
Yeah.
glorified it on TV and movies. They make it seem so like
Like
majestic
yeah, right.
and really it's just a bunch of kids like just getting wild. And when you're in Miami,
Imagínate.
you're getting wild all the time.
Exactly.
So it's not a thing. Prom must be something big like in states that small gathering and people don't really party.
Yeah.
When you party all day every day,
So
prom is just another thing.
So yeah, but what happened really like what happened at and it's not a big deal because like I said, there's stores. I work at a dispensary now. But at school, like what really led to like me getting like leaving the school, I would like I it wasn't much, bro. I had like little petty weed, and one of my friends he wanted to smoke in the morning before, and they were so on it at Braddock. I was sitting down, and I told him, "Oh yeah, look, I'm sitting here." Like I text him, pull up, in the like in the hallways before class started. He got like a little bag of weed from me, and then like a few hours later, I get called down. They searched me, had nothing on me, but they're like, yeah, this guy, we caught him, and he said you sold him, and this guy was my friend.
He snitched.
Yeah, dog, but bro, we're young kids, whatever. I wish the best in life. I don't talk to the guy no more, but
So that was it was probably a blessing in disguise.
yeah, and like I said, it wasn't something that I encourage people to do, but really, 100%, I just like that was the 100% honest truth. I got in trouble. My dad was like, bro, if you're gonna keep doing this and keep getting in trouble, I don't.
You gotta
He didn't really say it like that, but he told me he's like, you're not just gonna be chilling at home. I started working at UPS and always been hustling. At least that's for sure.
You got that from the pops?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, my dad never he always hustled. He was a taxi driver. And then just always saving money, bro. Just always hustling. Even with my grandparents, my grandma, my grandfather used to own a cafeteria, and then like before he passed away, even though he really didn't need to, he would always do Uber. I don't know. It's just
Wow.
just like
Just to do something.
the hustle. My grandma, she's chilling now. She my dad and I and her, we have her chilling. She used to sell like flans and used to be active with restaurants, like selling it to them, but she doesn't need to do that anymore. She just chilling now.
She just chills?
Yeah, she just chills, dog.
So let's go. So from high school, you said, forget this, I'm out.
Yeah, from high school, I said I'm out, and then when I turned like 21, I was like, I really gotta start.
Yes, when you got the spark again.
I was like, well, I gotta start taking this music serious. I can't just like put this to the sideburn and then be like, now I'm 29. Right now, then what if I would have never done all the stuff that would have led up to this trajectory right now? Nothing. I would have been wondering.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
I would have been
what started the steps to get to where you're at
no,
now.
for sure though. But like that's always been my thought process. Like I can't not go without doing because I can't be a what if person. So like what led to that trajectory was just like, honestly, rest in peace to one of my first engineers that I started recording with. His name is Rico, and I used to go to his house, and he used to record for like Puya and Fat Nick, and then seeing them, like I always was inspired by me doing music and myself, but just seeing them when they started blowing up, I was like, yo, these dudes from Kendall, they're blowing up, and it's just like possible. Like they like they gave me like hope,
Yeah.
like because they're dope, but just seeing them do their thing was like was to me was inspiring.
Yeah.
So seeing that put a battery in my back, and just I was just trying to at that age I was just finding myself. Still I know who I am right now, but at that age, at that like 19, 20, 21 year age, I'm still finding
you got
myself.
different options,
Yeah,
different
trying
ways you could go.
trying to find my identity, and then there was music that I wasn't fond of that I was making too neither. Like, I was kind of like, I'm raised by a good family, and not that I was making nothing negative, but I was making like, kind of like too much like turned up trap shit that probably had some ignorant messages in it, at least for me. And I feel like growth is being able to tell yourself that, because a
Correct.
lot of people can't call
Yes,
themselves
knowledge
out.
yourself, man. You
And
gotta identify what is and what isn't for you,
yeah, you
and
know.
not be afraid to, because that's the
And
thing.
it wasn't for me. And then
There you go.
power of the tongue is real, so I can't be putting out something that is a negative message. And and yeah, you know, at that's me. I was like at around 21, and then I was like realizing, I was like, okay, I'm doing something, but I was feeling like I didn't like what I was put. I People were liking it, but I didn't like it. I was like, this
Awesome. Yeah, that's exactly
this
what this
is. I
podcast is
was like,
about.
that's why I was like,
Knowledge yourself,
this
man.
isn't me. This isn't, bro. Up to like, I don't even care to say it. I deleted the song, and that's when that was on me. Shout out to the artist on the song. His name is Lil Ominous. But it was called Demon. You
Whoa.
feel me?
Okay.
And I had, you know, like I said, he's an artist from Hialeah doing his thing. I even paid him to get on the song. I have no pride to say that, but it was me that put the song together. And I just didn't like, you know, because his thing is ominous and dark, and I
Yeah.
was like, you know, but retrospect, I didn't like it, you know. Power of the tongue is real, and I was saying some wild stuff on it, and nothing to do with him. It was all on me, you know. And I feel like, I don't know, being a man is to be able to call yourself out on things that,
Of course.
you feel me? So that was, I'm 21 years old. I'm realizing, but people, I got a good traction on it, bro. The song, and what scared me, you know why it scared me, is the song got picked up by a YouTube channel. It got hundreds of thousands of views. And then I was sitting here and I was like, you know, I'm not selling my soul. There's not a guy coming down here, and I'm not signing something. I think I am with words. You get what I'm trying to say? And I was like, damn, you know, like if I could blow up off this, I don't know, like it
You
put
don't
me
want to keep going
in
with that
that
feeling.
route, in
I
that
got it.
route. And you could probably still find the song today, whatever, you know. But I didn't feel right about that. And then it was right there, was just at a time of just like, I'm 21 years old, but I'm thinking, you know, then I become like, I realize like you should rap about hot trends.
Okay.
Then, like, you know, the Popeyes chicken sandwich came out, right? And then
Oh,
I
when
start,
everybody was making a
yeah,
line,
yeah,
that was
yeah,
the craziest
yeah. And then
situation,
I
man.
made a crazy song about that, and then like it was ignorant, but it was funny. You get what I'm trying
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
say?
You had
And
fun.
then I kind of like, you know, and then randomly in that song, and I ad lib, I said Depinga. That was just that. That's just that, right? Song went cool, and it's a funny song, you know. It's nothing negative on it. At least I don't feel like it, you know. And from there, I went on a trip with some friends, right? And they were like, you know, we would always be joking around. When we were driving, we were in LA, and I would be driving around, that pinga, just sing that pinga. I was just like 23 years old, 24, just super happy to be in LA in a rental with some of the homies. We're shooting a video. You
Okay.
know, I'm just super happy to be in Los Angeles, young, free, being out of the state, out of, you know, no
Yeah,
parents,
yeah, yeah.
like, you
That
know,
was the first time
freedom.
you ever went out to the
Nah,
state?
but before that, I went before that when I was like 21, but um, I really didn't count it because like I didn't have any music out,
Got
you
it.
know.
Okay.
And a crazy story about that. We're backtracking, but I don't mind because it's a good backtracking. When I went to LA the first time, one of my friends, he knew DJ Paul, and it
Okay.
was crazy. Like this is something that actually put a battery in my back too, to drop a lot of music. Whether, you know, I doubt DJ Paul remembers this, but we were in a studio, and you know, he asked me, he's like, "Oh, what's your artist name? You have music out?" I didn't have my artist name, and I had no music out, and I was shooting my first
Just
music
lyrics.
video, and just lyrics, and telling him, "Oh, I'm out here shooting a video." So you know, DJ Paul, if you ever see this now, that being on weather, DJ Paul, you feel me? You know? And but yeah, I was like, damn, bro, I was literally next to Grammy award winning artists, and I didn't have nothing to show him. Maybe if, I'm not saying that if I had something to show him, it would have gotten me something out of him. I don't want nothing, but you know, maybe he would have been like, okay, you know, he put in that work. But still, either way, it was a pretty cool experience, you know,
Yeah, it
and
taught
that
you something.
and it put a battery in my back. And then
Okay.
ever since then, I remember it was always like a slippery slope. People would tell me, "Oh, you dropping too much, or you shouldn't drop that much." But man, I'm grateful that I did, because if you look at my catalog, over,
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier before we turned on the camera. Some people give you advice, and you gotta kind of look at them and be like, okay, you're giving me this advice. Why are you telling me that I'm coming out with too much music? which I don't believe is.
People don't like look. And I'm grateful for the people that do know me. But music wise, people don't know me like that. Like that, I'm not upset about that. But you gotta give them a reason to know you. Gotta
Exactly.
drop, dog. Especially in this.
Once
era.
you get their attention, you got to do something with that attention.
Exactly, dog. And even not coast and chill, tampoco.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens. So, but my bad. So now after this trip, me and my friends are like, yo, you should make a song called Depinga, because I'm riding around saying Depinga, right? I get back, I make a song called Depinga. It goes crazy, and then everywhere I walk around, where like people be like, yo,
They scream it out, Depinga.
Yeah, and I was like, oh shit. So then I turned it into my brand. Then years later, shout out to my homie Kendall Supply, my homie Kareem. He's the owner of the brand called Kendall Supply. He put me on how to trademark it. He put me down with a super dope lawyer, with a trademark lawyer, and I got my Depinga phrase trademarked. It took like 2 years because the golf company called Ping, they thought that I was trying to like copy their likeness, and then I just cannot sell any golf related merch. Which, in retrospect, I think if we did a Depinga collab, a ping, here on Knowledge of Self podcast, we can make something happen. Manifesting that. You see, manifesting.
Hey,
some
the
good
tongue,
stuff.
man, the tongue.
So yeah, from there, it's going crazy. I trademark it, and then bro, just always, I'm always like, I have mad merch printed out, and then shout out to my homie Trop Da Vinci, super dope engineer producer. He would always be, he knows a lot of people. He's an engineer. He produces for Rick Ross. And, one day he's like, yo, Nick, Trippie Red's going to be in the studio. Come hang out and, be a fly in the wall. What I do. I just came with merch, and I came with some goodies, blessed everybody. And I thought nothing of it. And I don't go to the studio and give the artist merch, and I don't bother them. Like, hey, let me get a picture. Here's my stuff. Like, this is my IG, whatever, And, bro, a few months later, Trippie Red posts a picture with my Depinga shorts next to Travis Barker.
Nice.
And he posted it on his page, and that, like, really took it to another level. And, bro, just running with it, bro. Just running with it. It's just, like, not being comfortable when something big happens. What's, at least for me.
Okay, emphasize on that. What do you mean? So when something happened, like, you got a little, like, scared, or you were, like, thrown back from, like, what's going on?
No, like, when something big happens, I mean, like when a big accomplishment happens, I can't be like, all right, cool, Trippie Red wore my shorts, I'm gonna just chill off this for the rest of my life.
Got it.
No, like, what can I do, and what's the next thing that
how can I benefit from this?
Yeah, benefit from this, and what can I top off this situation to make something better, Then after I scored a song through my homie Trop Da Vinci with Burner and Gunplay on the song, that was dope. But then my next thing is like, what are we doing? Like, I am content with the things that I do that are dope, and they're big plays, but I'm like, I'm not satisfied. What's the next thing?
Nice. Where'd you get that attribute from?
I get it from my grandmother and from my mom, to be honest. Yeah. They're hustlers, dog.
So they're the ones that are always giving you
that
energy
drive.
and the drive?
Yeah. For real. Like, my mom just, like, always was like, and just like my both of them, just seeing them both hustle, they just seeing them hustle, dog, like, relentlessly, bro. Sometimes, obviously my dad, I would see him put in that work too, but just like, my mom was like, my little sister and me, we come from my dad, and then my brother has his dad, and then, my older sister had her dad. So it's like different dads, you feel me? And then my mom had to take care. I lived with my dad alone, and then all my other brothers and sisters live with my mom. So she had to, like, always raise them, and, like, and then still hustle. And she ain't never, like, she was never, like, one of the type of woman to, like, want to be, like begging up on my dad and stuff like that. My dad always looked out for her.
She was probably always like, olvídate eso.
Yeah. Nah, and she's always been like that. She's a hustler, dog, and I feel like that's where I get it from. And I would always see her up at 5 in the morning, though.
Nice. So you got the Bingo brand trademarked.
Mm-hmm.
You pushed it. People are accepting it. You're becoming this character. So the self-concept is starting to build, get to
Mhm.
another level.
Mhm.
Now, when you get to this other level, like, how do you still maintain the ability to be Nick Garcia, but with this other concept that you created, pushing it forward?
I feel like it's staying grounded, and staying humble too. I feel like a lot of people, in my opinion, they get like this little quote unquote fame, I guess you could call it,
The ego.
and the ego starts to play with the mind. And don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I've had little ego trips, and I need to correct myself, and I've caught myself too, because the world will humble you.
Correct.
Life will humble you.
Correct.
And the same people that you quote unquote might have shitted on the way up, maybe if you're on the way down and you need help, what do you think they're gonna do?
Yeah, they're
And
just gonna oversee.
it's not about a being fake thing. It's just about show love to show loves to you, and you don't gotta shit on people. At least that's been my whole thing. And a lot of people, they like I said, they get like a quote unquote, like,
Yeah, the
a
head gets
little buzz, like,
big. They think they're
you know
better
how
than
like that
everybody.
have gotten
Yeah.
this little buzz of the Pinga weather. People, imagine some people might act like, oh, they're better than I'm, bro. I'm not better than no. I'm a regular human being. I just so happen to put a smile on people's faces, and that's like my genuine intention with it. I know a lot of people might have mixed conceived notions. They say that I make Cubans and Latinos look bad, but I think, unfortunately, some of my own people do that without saying that pinga with let me not say too much, but with,
Yeah.
yeah. And my own people do that, but it's okay. I whatever with whatever you believe in, I got love for people. I'm not out here
Yeah, you're
judging
not hurting
people.
nobody. You're just
So I just like
creating
yeah, I just like putting a smile on people's face, because every time I do realize when I do that pinga weather, it's like it is, sometimes it'll be the early morning ones, and it's just like the moment is bleak. Everybody's like, damn, I gotta go to work. But you know what
this
happens
guy's over
after?
here screaming.
And you know what? After I do the pinga weather, people are laughing, clapping, giving a round of applause. So it's like, I know what I'm doing.
Okay, take us to that thought. How did you develop this concept? The
So
idea of it, okay, the binga,
yeah,
then you
yeah, yeah,
started recording, then you
bro.
made a song,
Can you believe it
and
was
then it
in?
started escalating
Can
because
you believe what you're asking with the pinga weather, right?
the binga in general,
So
just the phrase, the word, the
So
meaning,
I
the
just
concept.
I just saw, like, after I dropped the Depinga song, it was doing an effect, and I was running with it. And then from there I was just going crazy, everything Depinga. Um I dropped an album that created a lot of controversy within that. It was called well, I found the Depinga name within this album before.
Okay.
So the album before is called King of Kendall, which it had a lot of people in a frenzy, because they were like, ¿Y quién es este chamaco calling himself King of Kendall? And I got the idea from DJ Paul, King of Memphis.
Got
Because
it.
at that time, Tekashi 69 was blowing up, and I wanted to do something to grab people's attention, because I honestly don't give a fuck, really.
Okay.
But I wanted to do something to grab people's attention, but without having to do something so ridiculous. I don't need to do tattoos on my face and dye my hair,
Got it.
or like associate myself with
So it's
gang
not a visual
members.
thing. It's more of a
So
personality trait.
yeah, and then I was like, yo, when they did King of Memphis, it had everybody in Memphis in an uproar, because they're like, how you didn't say?
Yeah, nobody
So
likes it.
so, but then when I did the King of Kendall, nobody liked that, but they loved it. It was like, so basically I posted it on Twitter, and some girl quote tweeted it, and she was from Broward. She's like, bro, are you in the 6th grade or something? What is this? And then I wrote back to her. I'm like, oh, God bless you. I appreciate your opinion. And then everybody, the Twitter world is crazy. I haven't been on Twitter or X now that it is in a minute, but because TikTok and Instagram shows hella love. Pero the point is that on Twitter, that thing went crazy. It skyrocketed and went viral. And, the King of Kendall really created some controversy. And that was my first installment. And then I have King of Kendall 2 as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's a thing. So within King of Kendall 1, I found that Pinga, because that's when I went in that time of that California trip. So from King of Kendall, because people do call me, and like I said, when I made King of Kendall was to make people realize that we're all kings and we're all queens. You feel me? And the
Correct.
thing is that when I do come from Kendall, and growing up in Kendall, people used to like try to clown me or be like, it's just like another Kendall. But like my grandparents were working hard to have this house in Kendall, so
Yeah.
I'm grateful to live where I'm from. So it doesn't matter. You get me? So, but I grew up with a lot of like backlash from being where I'm from for no reason. You get me?
I mean, that's how Miami is.
So
Miami
and
is a trendy place.
yeah. So yeah, man. The King of Kendall stuff really created an uproar because it had people, man. They're like, bro, who is this guy calling himself King of Kendall? But I kind of sidetracked. The point is that there was a lot of artists coming out trying to act like they're a hood or from the ghetto, and then you'd find out they're from probably the same areas that I'm from. You get what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say? So I'm people actually respecting me because I'm being real to who I am. You know?
And that's what we need to do. That's knowledge yourself. One of the main things is knowledge yourself.
So
And by knowledge yourself, you get self-awareness. From self-awareness, you create the concept.
mhm.
And that was the main reason I was like, yo, I got to get Nick in here. Because what you just told us, that you went through all these parts of life, like, okay,
Phases, yeah, like
you had a
phases.
phase that you weren't sure, but then you're like, you know what? I know what I want to do. And then you felt it. Intuition, which a lot of people don't use that.
Mhm.
Like I've said it before, your body is a temple, and it's a conscious thing that it's real. Sometimes you feel a feeling, you got to go with it. Even if people are telling you, nah, you might not do this because trust me, bro. How many times you heard people say, trust me, bro?
Bro, too many times. Trust me, I've heard
And
it
I'm
a
telling
lot.
people, don't trust them. Trust your intuition. So I'm betting on you that your intuition always told you, forget these people. Because when you started the Depinga, I'm sure people were like, yo, this is too loud.
Man, it's crazy, bro.
This is too crazy.
When I was getting it trademarked, I had people like come up to me. They were like, "Bro, you should maybe like make another brand. Maybe you should like not get it trademarked anymore. Maybe that's why it's not gonna go through." And I had people put in that, and I never forget, man. I talked to a homie, and he's like, "Man, fuck that shit, bro. It's gonna go through." You feel me?
There you go.
And it's just about believing yourself and keeping yourself around people that
Yes.
like how you said, bro, that you can't be,
see
you, can't,
your,
you know,
your
like,
vision.
you know, there's like always like, you know, those group of people that you hang around or not, I can't even say you, but like there's those groups of people in life, right? That you'll hang around and they'll be like, you know, you'll talk about, hey man, we should put an ATM in a supermarket to make a, you know, to have a little side hustle. That's not possible. Listen, people,
Counterproductive.
don't hang around that's not possible ass people, because
Message.
anything is possible, bro. Honestly,
Yeah, you put your mind to it.
Yeah.
And
So,
obviously, that's what you did.
and yes, I did encounter that. I encountered that a lot, you know, and for sure, bro. And just keeping and keep. I did have some solid ones around me, you know, that
Nice.
I would report to, you know. My OGs, you know, shout out to my boy Beats in the Hood. Shout out DJ EFN. All my crazy hoods. You feel me? Like I do have like, you know, people that I could go to and ask for advice, and I'm grateful for that, and I don't take it for granted. You know.
Of course,
It,
you
it,
gotta
it
you
does
gotta
me,
find positivity.
you know.
And if it's in a person, if it's in a movie, if it's in a song, whatever moves you. You feel me? And
I like watching documentaries like there's one of Dr. Dre, the Defiant Ones.
Oh, that was one of the best
Yeah, you know,
ones.
I like watching stuff like that.
Yeah, but they make it seem so easy.
Yeah, I know.
Like when they're like, yeah, and then he told me to do it, and I was like, all right, let's do it. And then we sold it for millions, and first billionaire. I was like, yo, you guys are talking like it's nothing.
yeah, like it's nothing.
But for real, it's a
Yeah,
lot of
man.
things they went through. Think about it. Dr.
Yeah,
Dre and
bro,
them,
it is.
they went through a lot of
Yes,
turmoil.
it is, man. Nah, it's crazy. I didn't even know that a girl group, I forgot what their name was, but they funded like their NWA records like that. That they
Wow.
rolled out. I forgot. I think it was called Fatty Fat or something like that.
Oh, in L.A.
In LA,
Yeah.
and they were on Death Row, or
Yeah.
no, what was it called? Ruthless Records. They were on
Yeah,
Ruthless. They
I
were
know
on
who you're talking about. I forgot the name, but I know
I forgot
exactly
their
who you're
I
talking about.
forgot their name too, but I saw it on that documentary, bro.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, some dope history. You feel me?
Yeah, you got to know your history to know where you're heading. But I mean, some of these documentaries, depending on who produces them,
Yeah.
you might get
They
the
be
truth. You
chopping it
might get
up.
other. That's why
So-
it's. I like to watch them, but I don't really take them all.
Yeah, like the information
Like-
that they
like
say
this
as
is
factual.
facts.
Yes.
Like I always got that from because when I was a kid, I used to read encyclopedias a lot. My mom used to punish me, and she used to be like, "Go read an encyclopedia." So I used to learn a lot of things that nobody really knew about. So then I would go to school or watch documentaries, and they'll teach us things that I'm like, yo, that's not true, or that's not real.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Christopher Columbus, the first.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, I got in so much trouble. I remember that day. I'm like, that's not true. And then she looked at me. She's like, Gene, please step outside. I'm like, what's going on? She's like, why are you saying that? I'm like, because it's not true. You're telling me Christopher Columbus was the first person to be in the Americas. That's not true at all.
Tripping. It was the Native
And I was
Americans.
young, dude. I was young. And then not even the Native Americans, like people that actually came to the North American continent.
Yeah.
There was Vikings. There was even, bro, what is the latest that they found? Egyptian scriptures somewhere in the Grand Canyons.
Oh shit. Well, I don't even know. I don't even know.
Look it up.
That's crazy.
It's nuts. So I'm like, yo, there's Egyptian scriptures and hieroglyphs.
Because imagine how the world is fucking thousands and thousands, or who knows how many years old. You know,
Millions, billions.
millions. You know, so
What is
been
time?
civil.
What is time?
What is time? That I honestly realized that at work, because like I'm grateful to have work, but like when you work like in the morning, and I don't know, or just like night. But yes, what is time? I feel like time. I feel like there's just sunrise and sunset.
I used to think I understood time, and then I realized time doesn't exist. Because if you drive to New York, it's gonna take you a day, but if you fly, it takes you 3 hours. So did I time travel? You and I left at the same time, but I flew and I got there quick.
It's just
And you
a
drove,
blink.
and it takes you the day to get there. Like, yo, where you been?
It's insane, dog. It's
So
insane.
time could be traveled. All you need is a vehicle to take you there in higher speed, and
So
you could go.
technically, do we time travel when we go on planes?
Exactly. That's what I'm asking.
Damn. So are we time traveling and in plain sight and people's in our faces, and they're just saying, "Oh no, we're just flying."
I believe we are. Because remember, 100 years ago, people were on wagons, right?
Mm-hmm.
People were going from here to California. It would take them weeks.
Yeah.
Now you just get on a plane, you get there
Yeah,
quick.
because if you think about it, I know it's just like being like super, the being I'm breaking it down. But if you're flying and you're getting somewhere that when it takes you to drive a day, but if you fly, it takes you 3 hours.
You're time
You're
traveling.
traveling in time.
Yeah.
It's time traveling. That's not gonna
That's
lie.
that's how I see it.
Okay,
But
that's a good perspective.
the deeper you keep thinking about it and you get into, you start realizing like, what the hell is that? It's a man-made.
Yeah, time is just a man-made thing, just for like, yo, hey, yo, we had to be here at 6:30 today.
Yeah.
You know, for example, because that's the set.
That's the
But
set one. You know, and I know that this is when we have to do.
we have to be there. But other than that, bro,
Imagine a world without time. What would you think that would be? That would be the pinga time?
I think it'd be like, I think it would probably be said like, yo, bro, it's like a quarter sundown, or like,
Correct.
like it'd be like a different chart.
Correct.
I think that whatever that chart is, I think it'd be a little.
Well, the
sicker.
natives, from what they tell us, I don't know how true it is, but
Mhm.
the scriptures say that they would put the smoke clouds.
Mm-hmm.
So when you would see the smoke cloud, all right, it's time to go to that area or meet up in that,
Yeah.
So you would always look up, and when you see the smoke, all right, it's time.
That's dope.
That's crazy, right?
That's crazy as fuck.
So yeah, take us to what's coming up next, man. Because now that you have the brand, now that you have this conscious thought, this self concept that you created, and now you're starting to grow. So what is the next step?
The next step right now, man, is just to keep working on myself. To be honest, I feel like it's a everlasting work in progress.
Yeah, every day you have to work on it.
Working on myself, dropping new music. Dropping new music every month this year. I'm working on a project with me and my boy Beats in the Hood. It's called Depinga in the Hood. Probably dropping it by the end of this year, and just staying consistent, man. Really, just staying consistent and trying to keep a clear mind. Um, staying away from things that don't serve me, that are no good for me. And maybe what I do need to work on for myself, maybe just like my health. I'm not like, I don't smoke like cigarettes. I don't drink alcohol a lot. Like I'll drink here and there occasionally, for real. But I think like this year what I need to work on is like more of my health. Maybe like now I don't need to go in the gym and get off full fledged, but I just need to focus.
Yeah,
on,
expand your lungs.
yeah. So I feel like the same love and the same work that I put in on dropping music, putting in albums, and doing my content, I gotta do that to me. Because how am I gonna do that being out weathers till I'm like 80, 90 years old?
Hey, why not, man?
If I'm unhealthy,
Correct. You have to
So,
get there first.
yes, sir. So and then just realizing how much of an influence I become to even like a younger crowd too. So that comes with a lot, you know.
So you realizing that you have this potential to be a person that influences others.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Have you ever had doubt in the journey from when you created the concept to now? Have you ever had like that
Oh,
self
doubt.
doubt?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
share with us because there
Oh
might be
my
some kid
god.
watching
Man,
you right now.
there used to be days that I would be like, like just all in. Like, just like invested all in into myself. Like, I took a trip once to Atlanta, paid for music videos. I came back, like, literally had just paid my rent. I had no money. And I was like so stressed. I told like my dad, I was like, I don't even know why I'm doing this. But it's like, then I realized I'm like, it's not because of money, it's like because I love doing this. But sometimes as an artist though, you're gonna find yourself, if you're independent, you're gonna find, and you're funding yourself, sometimes you're gonna find yourself like, I've put this before a relationship. I've
Oh,
put
okay.
this sometimes like,
You believe in it.
yeah, that's how much I believe in it, and it comes with a lot. Um, but yeah, that doubt, that brought doubt, you know. But
You
yeah,
still have to deal with it or no?
do I still have to deal with it? I feel like
You passed it already?
I passed it, but sometimes I feel like, when you do a lot of big things, like I think that imposter syndrome thing is real,
Okay.
you know. So like, but I'm super appreciative of the things that I've accomplished,
Nice.
and when people tell me that they're happy for me, I appreciate that too. But bro, the doubt, yes, it does happen. You just gotta like. It's easy to say, but you just gotta have faith. Like whoever you believe to be in God. I don't know if I'm Christian or Catholic, but I believe in God, and God for me is like earth outside, like trees, like like
It's
this
everything.
universe that we live in,
It's a little voice
and
inside.
just like just having faith, dog. I know it's so easy to say, bro, and but just to not give up, cause and what you got to think about too, for you when that doubt comes in, think about like you work to do all these things, or like you're building to do these things, and you don't want to say later in your life when let's say you're older already, in your 60s, in your 70s, and then let's say you didn't do these
Oh,
things, like I
regret.
said from with the beginning,
Regret.
the what ifs, the regret. You don't want to live with that. And I've seen, it's crazy. I've seen people, and like when I was younger, that used to tell me stuff, and I used to wonder, and I was like, it stuck with me.
Yeah.
So it's kind of chilling. Some people, they don't get that message.
Again, the people you were surrounded by helped you.
I was always around a lot of like people with a lot of wisdom, and like I said, even till not too long ago, I've had people that have given me great advice, and I've gone against the grain and crashed against my head against the wall, and
Learned. You live and you
and
learn.
but I've learned from that, and just gotta keep learning, bro. I feel like everything I've been through is like character development.
Yeah. I was gonna ask because a lot of the stunts you do, well, I call them stunts because they are. You're in the middle of traffic.
Yeah.
You're jumping in restaurants. You're screaming, and I crack up because what I do is like in movies. I do this too. When I watch a movie, like if I watched it already once, I don't watch the main characters. I look at the background.
Yeah.
I look at the people in the back, and
The
you'd be surprised
reactions.
the shit you see and the things people do, and you'll be like, "Yo, check this out. This is crazy." So when I watch yours, sometimes I look in the background, and I just see people like, you know what I mean? And I see people like fake, like they're on the phone and they walk away. Like people cringe. Like, how do you deal with that? Because I'm sure after the camera's cut, people will be like looking at you like, "Oye, niño,
Well,
¿qué es lo que te pasa?"
sometimes, honestly, I've never, and thank God, I've never gotten a negative reaction. But even if I do get like an awkward reaction, which it'll be like it's just quiet. Like the other day at carne asada in Sweetwater, it's a 24/7 fritanga. I did a pinga weather right there, and after like I got my food in the middle of the line, and everybody was like super quiet. But at the end, of every that pinga weather,
Yeah.
I apologize, and I let them know that like I'm just out here spreading good vibes.
There
Like,
you go.
I
Okay.
tell them, oye, todo el mundo, discúlpame, nada más estoy haciendo esto para promocionar el restaurante.
And people understand that.
Yeah, some people do understand. I think.
But do you
so.
pull up? You
But
just
when-
pull up.
Yeah, I'll just pull up. When I finished on that one, the lady was like, "Oh my God, you scared me, but how funny."
Yeah, because they don't understand it. I could
Yeah.
imagine you're like eating there, especially if you're an older character. And all of a
Yeah.
sudden, this kid's jumping into frame like, yeah.
So the pinga weather. So thankfully and thank God, it has happened that sometimes I don't realize it. And then after I do it, I realize there's a man there with his wife or a man and his daughter.
Yeah.
So that's why I definitely almost after if I do it, even whether if there's nobody with a daughter or a boy or son, whatever.
Oh, so you peep the scene. You
Ye-
read the room.
But sometimes too, if it's too many little kids, I'm like, I don't feel like, like sometimes I'm like, I don't feel like doing this, you know. Just cause like I don't know, I just don't want to upset a parent, or maybe I'm like Depinga, and they'll probably freak out, start crying. I'm not trying
Some
to.
people don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
So what does it mean to you?
That what Depinga means is an expression of um, like of content, of like happiness, sad, mad. It's an expression of being like happy, sad, or mad, or whatever
All
you
in
want.
one.
All in one.
You could
All in one.
insert it into any
Yes,
situation.
yes, that's what Depinga means. Depinga means.
I got introduced to it. My mom married a Cuban,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember in their family it was said like every 3 words.
Yeah.
Like, oye,
It's
cómela. Oye, esto está frío de pinga. I'm like,
Yeah.
I was always like, what the hell are they saying? Then when I caught on, I was like, oh, okay, I get it.
You
I
feel me?
get it.
So, it's just like a phrase of like, like, damn, this beer's cold, ño, de pinga. Or ño, que caliente está el
Or
cafecito.
que rico está eso. Yeah.
So, it's just how you use it. There's people, I know homies from Venezuela, they use the pinga for everything good. Um, I just feel like it's the way they use it. But other than Cubans, there's other Latin cultures that use the pinga.
Really?
Yeah.
I've only
People in-
heard.
No, for sure,
Cuban.
it's super prevalent because, like, here in Miami, but people from Venezuela, people in Spain. So,
Okay.
super dope.
You gonna head out there one time and see what you get
Bro, I'm down, man.
in Venezuela right now? You know they're allowing people to go there.
Oh, shit. No, actually, right now with this climate, man, I don't know.
What do you think of this climate, de pinga?
The pinga. That's just all I have to say. Literally, for real. No, everything.
This is, I believe
everything
it's
is-
all planned. It's all
Yeah.
written, and it's all starting to develop to the plan, which is to control the whole world, right? The new world order.
It's too much going on right now. I think that it's a bunch of people that run the world and billionaires that they don't want certain files to come out. So they want.
That's all smoke and mirrors, man.
Yeah.
This is all.
So
like,
even that too, is that a distraction? It's like, you get what I'm trying to
Exactly.
say. That's why I like, I work at a dispensary, and I have a lady that she comes in and she's like, Nick, I've had a horrible day. This world sucks. Everything is crazy. I've just been on my phone. And then that's another thing. The overconsumption of seeing
Yeah,
all this
moderation. Everything in
information.
moderation.
We all should be allowed to see it. That's why we're in America, free country. But bro, there's so much crazy stuff going on right now that I think
But is it going on?
exactly. There's so much.
Because okay, we're gonna go into this topic, the AI situation. AI could pretty much imitate anything. So are we really seeing things that are really happening, occurring at the time? And forget about now, in the past. Because when they presented GPS and cellular phones, they already had this technology way before. So when they gave it to us, we're like, oh, this is new technology. No, it's not.
Yeah, not to them.
So
that
now
was like,
AI,
bro.
here's like, here, have AI to the masses. How long they have AI?
And if you ask me, I know a lot of people are gonna be like, "Yo, that being a take," but I think AI is like the most worst thing that's happened.
It depends, bro.
In my opinion, because it's like people that don't want to be creative anymore. They don't want to you know come up with ideas. They want and I get it. The brain is tired. We're humans. But now, like, we did not watch Terminator. We did not listen to Sarah Connor.
But peep this. This is probably an
Like-
angle that you've never thought of.
Uh-huh.
The same thing you're saying, I could put a documentary about musicians. When sampling came out, they were saying the same thing you're saying. Same exact thing. They're like, musicians are not using their brain anymore. They're not using their talents. And look at everything that's been developed from sampling.
Yeah, but I don't know if you're an artist and then you're like, at least me, if you're getting an idea from AI, don't talk bad about people writing your music. You're having somebody write your music. Like me, I'm writing it with like my being a brain.
So if somebody gives you a hit record and tells you, yo, we need your persona on this, you'll say no?
Like, just don't tell me it's AI, bro. Keep that alive from me, bro. Please don't tell me, bro. I don't know. I just like I know I'm super unk status, bro. I know I'm 29 too. Some people that might not be, but bro, I grew up going to FYE.
Yeah.
Like I like that, you know.
Physical.
But you know, and even then, who is to say that even artists back then weren't being written for? Of course, you know.
A lot of
But
artists are being
but
recognized.
but if I'm gonna choose whether if I want AI to write for me or a human, I'd rather be in the studio with like a low key songwriter that makes hits than with an AI. I just feel like
So what's the difference?
it kills the magic. Maybe if I'm with this person that writes hits, we're bouncing ideas off of each other. I'm just like here with like, all right, AI,
So what if
you
that
know.
writer right there says, "Hold on, let me ask ChatGPT. Let me." You'll be like, I'm out of here,
Yeah, I'm done.
or
Or
you'll
like,
be like, "Depinga."
no, Depinga, bro, Depinga. Literally, I wouldn't know what to do. Or yeah, I wouldn't know what to do. But I would try not to. I would try.
Or what I asked all the artists that as of late, like, what if you get to the point where you're like being presented an award or being nominated for an award, and all of a sudden, Captain Hip Hop AI uh, artist wins it over you.
Nah, bro, that's the point that I'm just doing this shit for the love of it, dog. Real shit. That's why, like, look at Lil Russell. He sold 30,000, and
Yeah,
didn't get
independently,
he didn't
and
get
I think he's
recognized
only
by
sold it for
he
like
didn't
whatever
get
you want to give him.
recognized by Billboard. But a lot of these artists have faked their streams and they get recognized for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then recognition. We go back
But
to
that's
that.
and then what is that? What is that?
Yeah,
What is a label from getting an award from Billboard? You don't need, in
exactly.
my opinion, you don't need that. You know, I just feel like you need to do what makes you happy, first of all. And then second of all, if what you want to do is make a living off music, I feel like, bro, you can make a living off music and you just have your core fan base. And bro, we've seen artists that just have their like, bro, they have their niche fan base and they make livings off that. And they
Yeah.
don't,
What
you
is it?
know,
The instant count posses?
bro, perfect example. ICP, bro. Look at that.
Nobody knows who they are, but you go to their festivals and it's packed.
And then they'll bring out headliners too. They'll bring out big names out to their shows.
Yeah.
So ICP is a good one. Um, shit, man. Look, like they're obviously it's not comparing to them. They're not on the same level, but almost like Fat Nick, Puya, those artists. They're in their own lane.
Mm-hmm.
They could go on tours wherever they want. Like they don't have to fit in with the mainstream. You get
And
what
you
I'm
see it
trying
a
to
lot
say?
like in
Oh, there's
heavy
other,
metal bands,
yeah,
like
yeah.
real like dark. Sometimes people listen to that music and it's like,
Yeah,
whoa, but
yeah,
then they
yeah.
have their crowd, they have their people.
There's other artists like that. I can't really think of them off the top of my head.
So you're not
Um,
embracing AI.
nah, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not.
It's inevitable,
Pay
man.
your designer to do a flyer, please, Lord Jesus. I'm so sick of seeing AI designs. I get it, bro. I get it. Like, I don't get it. So please, let's put some money in our designers' pockets and get some real designs out here. The AI is just killing the vibe. I literally saw a big artist with big hits post a flyer of where they're gonna perform with an AI flyer. I'm like, bro, the promo team don't got a budget to give somebody twenty
I mean,
five
think about it
dollars.
now, man. I mean, some people fake it and they show these asses that they have and things, and really they're not there. You know how many people I know that it looks like they're there, but they're not there. I know a lot of people like
Yeah,
that.
no, I feel like that was a big thing. Like, that's a big thing here in
Miami.
Miami, bro. There's that whole saying of fake it till you make it. You can try doing it, and if it works for you, God bless. Cause what might work for me might not work for you, and what works for you
Might not work.
might not work for
Correct.
me. So with that being said, I just feel like with the whole fake it till you make it situation, I don't know. You could attract like there's a lot of people that they'll buy those big fake Temu chains that look like with diamonds and stuff like that, and some of them actually look real passing. But then there's somebody out there that's gonna think that your fake chain is real, and they're gonna try to kill you for it.
Okay. Yeah.
You know,
It's a
or
possible thing.
and it's fake. So now you got killed for your fake chain, and just I don't know. I just feel like there's more rawness. Like anything that you see me that I have, I've worked hard for it, but and there's nothing wrong. Like I'm not like I said. There's nothing wrong with, and in my opinion, if you want to wear fake stuff. But I feel like hip hop has made people think that they gotta like have like
Thing
things
is,
to
hip
identify
thing is,
or
hip hop is a culture, right?
yeah,
And the
yeah.
culture was created from creatives, people that were outside the lines, and then the masses started accepting it, so it became something that you could sell. So
Mhm.
once you could sell it, you know what they do? The big corporations take it and they take over, and then they control it now. Streams, images, and we all buy it into it. And now we know the difference because we grew from a time where okay, you could identify the real. Now you can't, which is at the AI era. You can't identify the real now. If you're a kid that's 18, 19 years old now, you don't have any reference, right? Unless you have the history taught to you or you see it. So it's very difficult.
Yeah, that's why I don't know. That's why I just feel like with the AI, that's why I feel like raw content is so important.
And being knowledge itself, having it, sharing it, expressing it, understanding that, yo, I don't need to like what you like. Doesn't make me a hater.
And yeah, and listen, I don't want people to think that I hate on AI or that if you use it, you're not doing things right. Like I said, that works for
You
you, works.
prefer a
But
different.
I just feel like let's do the things. Let's do it ourselves, man. Like for real. Let's go outside. You want to promote your record? I know it sounds like I said I shouldn't say this, but bro, find a creative way. Go out to the middle of the street and to, like I see one kid that he'll go up to people and he'll be like, "Bro, listen to my song." Like he'll pull up to the people recording them with a speaker and he'll be like, "Yo, bro, can I get your reaction on my song? If you think it's if you think it's whack, I'll give you $5. And if you think it's fire, let me
Yeah.
know." You know?
Putting his money where his
He'll
mouth
do
is,
it at a
literally.
gas station if he's like, if you think it's whack, I'll fill up your tank.
Oh,
You
wow.
know? Shit like
What would
that.
you do? You would say it's whack even if it's good?
Hey, so, hey, I'm not gonna lie, you know, if I was down bad in a certain situation, I'll be like, nah, bro, nah. But I'll be like, look, bro, honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't really like the track, but I'm down bad. I need like
Yo,
seven.
hook me up with at least
I
$5.
need $7.25 in gas, please, dog. I need specifically $7.25 in gas, please.
That's a trip, brother. So
But
now that you have everything pretty much going for you, have you foreseen the future? Like, do you know what is gonna come up, or you're just going day by day,
you know
project by
what?
project?
I'm going day by day and project by project. What I do foresee for the future is just being able to make a living off what I love doing.
Nice.
You know,
That's a good goal.
that's what I do see for the future for me. And right now I'm still building. You know, but that's what I do see. And I envision a lot of stuff, dope stuff. Maybe, maybe I don't know, maybe like a part-time anchor for a news channel. I don't know. I literally feel like I really can talk. I could be on a news channel, whatever, if
Just
they
create
wanted
your
me
own
to,
news channel
or have my own news channel. I
with
already,
AI.
I already have my own news channel. With the Depinga weather, it's literally like
Yeah,
its
man.
own
I mean, it could
platform.
be done. Think about it. All you
But
need is a green screen.
yeah, bro. But yeah, and two, I guess I just have my feet in so many avenues. Doing the being a weather, and then me being an artist. So I'm just like, you know,
You're having fun with life.
yes, right now, yes, 100%.
Amazing.
Thank you, brother.
All right, brother. So we're almost at the end of the interview, and we always throw a few questions. Remember, there's no right or wrong.
All right,
Just answering whatever comes to mind.
let's do it.
So you saw the movie The Bronx Tale ever before?
Yes, of course. I love the Bronx Tale.
Okay. When he asked Sonny, "Do you rather be loved or feared?"
What do I rather be?
Yeah.
Um, that's a good question. I know Sonny he picked feared, but because that's the lifestyle that he was living. He was living a gangster lifestyle, and in that lifestyle, you need to have people scared of you. You know, me, I want people to love me, cause like the energy that I'm putting out is loving, and good energy, and
That's what you want to receive.
and that's what I want to receive, and that's the mark that I want to leave. That's what I want to receive, and that's the mark I want to leave. I do.
That's a good one. Damn, you're even
Fire.
bars.
But yes, brother, I love Bronx Tale though. That's a great.
All right.
movie.
So you rather create from scratch, or you like to compare and take things from other people?
Um, I you know what? I feel like can the answer be a little bit of both?
Yeah.
A little bit of both, cause I do. I'll come up with my own twist, but I definitely like getting ideas from, like
Yeah, you get
older
influenced.
songs. So yeah, definitely for sure.
All right. Knowing or understanding? Which one do you prefer?
Um, Understanding because I'm not knowing of it all.
Nice.
I gotta be understanding sometimes, cause like sometimes there's shit that I don't want to be understanding of, but I really gotta be understanding, cause I gotta put myself in other people's shoes.
Correct.
So,
All right. Wealth or riches?
um,
It's no wrong answer.
I feel like if wealth felt in the category of wealth being like, wealthy and like my health,
There you go.
and stuff like that, feel
You're
like
seeing life in a different view because some people think wealth, they already think possessions or they
yeah,
think money.
all
You're
these
thinking
things,
things that are really valuable.
yeah, all these things
There
they
you go.
come and go, material things for sure.
All right. Perception or reality?
Uh, Perception, because your reality is not always what it is. It's not gonna always be that for you. Like, let's say if like your reality is like a bad situation, that's not always gonna be your
The
reality.
perception that you have is what makes that reality true.
Exactly. You feel me?
Amazing. Joy or happiness? Which one do you prefer?
Feel like having happiness. I feel like if I'm not happy with myself, how am I gonna be happy with? How am I gonna give happiness to the world and to other people?
All
Or
right.
at least I yeah.
And the power of choice. What do you think about that phrase?
Power of choice. I feel like that's big. We all have the power of choice to make decisions. Like I said earlier, it's not to elaborate much on it, but I've had friends that I ask advice to not do things. They'll be like, "Don't do that," and I did it. But in that moment of doing it, what did I have? A power of a choice
Choice.
to
Yes.
do it or to not.
So you believe in it. It's a power.
Yes, I did. I do. I do.
Okay. Emotional intelligence. You believe in that too?
100%. If you're not emotionally intelligent, you could um, ruin opportunities, relationships, friendships.
Correct.
You can't be quick to lash out over, different beliefs or thoughts, or with a spouse of a disagreement. You got to be, you know, hold your ground emotionally, because if not,
Yeah, you need to learn how to do that, but that comes with intuition,
yeah,
experience, and understanding.
and I'm not perfect. I'm a work in progress every day.
Every day, everyone is, man.
So
Nobody is perfect.
but definitely it's important.
All right, pain versus suffering.
Pain versus suffering. You suffer it all, because when you suffer, you get that pain. So, and without that suffering, I feel like you don't. I don't know. Not everybody needs to suffer. But
Yeah, we always say that on the podcast that suffering is a choice,
suffering is a choice.
because you could be going through something and you feel like it's the worst case, but you could snap out of it.
Yeah.
If you have like knowledge of self, you're like, you know what, man, this too will pass. Let me keep this.
Yeah, because like how you say, you have to have like a perspective too, because like you could be like
Exactly.
thinking you're suffering, and then there's somebody else going through something way worse, and then you're here.
You're like, damn, man, I'm here suffering over this and it's nothing.
yeah,
All right, logic or intuition?
intuition.
All day, right?
Yeah,
All right, intelligence versus experiences.
I would say experience.
Yeah.
Experience for sure.
With that, you obtain intelligence.
Intelligence, 100%.
All right, discipline or self respect?
Self-respect.
Which one do you?
Self-respect, because without self-respect, you're not gonna have no discipline.
Correct. It is a discipline to have self.
Self-respect, exactly.
All right, this one's the new one, and I've looked into it. It's kind of crazy. Self mastery versus personal power.
Self-mastery versus personal power.
So what I read about it was that self mastery is more within, and personal power is external.
So I would say self-mastery, because then I gotta master who I am.
Correct. Yeah, it's an internal control. It's like awareness. With that, it's crazy. When I read that, I was like, "Yo, this is nuts." They're both essential, but they have different aspects. It's nuts. When you look more into that, you start realizing, damn, I have the power or I have the knowledge, but I don't really have like the understanding of the differences. So I really just go with my intuition, which works, but sometimes it might go against you. So you gotta look into it. It's crazy. All right, when you like listening to people's dreams, or you like to listen to their real stories?
I don't mind listening to their dreams. You know why? Because like I feel like sometimes, I feel like sometimes people need to be like, heard of what they want to do. Like
Yeah,
you know, or they need somebody to like kind of inspire them. Like yeah,
correct.
dog.
And then their dream might inspire you, and then
Exactly.
and collaborations start like that, which is awesome. I love collaborating with people. All right. Do you feel like you're racing against time?
I
No,
don't
you're
know.
only 29. You're young
Yeah,
still.
29, but I don't know why I felt like I read like, this post that came up on my feed, and it was like there's nothing more, or what was it? It's like a man between the age of like 20, like 1 to like 35 feels like time is running out or something like that. And sometimes I don't know why I feel like that. Maybe that's why I go so hard, because I feel like time is running out. But I guess that's what it is in me, is the my body telling me like you're only gonna be only young for so long. You gotta take advantage. You feel me? So
Awesome.
that's what it is.
All right, and then this is the big one. What's the favorite day in your life?
My favorite day of my life. Shoosh. I guess the favorite day of my life when the Depinga trademark went through.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
How'd you take us there? How'd you feel?
It was 2023, and I just got a phone call from my lawyer. He's like, "Hey, the Pinga the Pinga trademark went through. He got the papers, and it was legit. I was like, yo, this is for real. So
Nice. So that's it. You own it. It's yours.
yes,
It's like
hundred
Pat Riley with
percent.
the three-peat.
Yes, like if anybody wants to use it and they want to the collab, we
Hit
could.
you
Oh,
up.
yeah, we could do something. But I've had people like in the states have tried selling the Pinga merch, like without my consent. Mark Rappaport just sends a
Really?
cease and desist. Yeah, and then yeah, but
You've
well,
had to deal with that already?
I don't deal with it.
The lawyer does.
Yeah. So
Wow. Well, how do you go about that? Like, would the lawyer just sends a cease and
like
assist?
I'll reach out to the person, see if they'll want to work something out. Most of the time they're disgruntled, and then just from there the lawyer deals with them. So
Wow. That's crazy. From an idea to like trademark to actually having an actual business.
yeah.
That's amazing.
And you could get your merch at the pinga305.printify.me.
Hell yeah. All right, brother. That was it, man. It was
Yeah.
great to
Oh, yeah.
understand and really, really get in depth with like the concept and how you
Appreciate
got
it.
to it. And yeah, man, let people know where to find you. Let them know what's coming up, and just anything else you want to tell the people, man.
Brother, no, thank you for having me here. I really appreciate it. It's been nothing but love. And I really, for real, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate it. And where you guys could find me at, if you want to listen to my music on Apple Music or Spotify, Nick Space Garcia on YouTube, Nick Garcia 305, social media on Instagram, Nick Garcia 305, The Pinga Weather, The Pinga Entertainment, TikTok, Nick Garcia 305, and your boy's everywhere, and I'm gonna be at K.O.S this Sunday.
Oh, that's gonna pop off.
Yeah.
I already
Pull
see
up,
good
pull up.
content. No, I
Yeah,
don't
no.
go there.
Yeah.
It's a little scary.
Yeah, it's crazy right now. Yes,
It's a little
but
scary. Too many
yeah.
people, too many crazies.
Yes. But yeah, brother, I appreciate the
Yeah, man.
opportunity for being here, and like the different conversation. We other than just talking about my music, I felt like this was needed, a conversation.
Yeah, knowledge
Even in
yourself.
my own life, to be honest, you never know.
Everybody needs knowledge yourself,
You
man.
know?
And the thing is that nobody talks about it. Nobody really projects that. Everybody wants to be what is right
Mm-hmm.
or what needs to be done or what needs to be said.
What
No,
is the norm?
what is the norm? And that there is no norm.
Nothing.
You know what I'm saying? Knowledge yourself is the norm. And if you're abnormal, it's even better.
Yeah.
Because you bring a little sauce to
I'm
the
that
to the
pinga.
table. Yo, guys, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you, Nick. You're always welcome to come back whenever you want to promote
Thank
anything.
you, brother.
Guys,
Appreciate it.
remember to exercise wisdom and live, love, and laugh. And shout out to our sponsor, caraccidentattorney.com. We want to thank them. And yeah, if you ever want to know about life or something, ask Mr. Depinga. He knows it all.
I don't know it all, but hey, we're here at Knowledge Itself. Y la cosa está
De
de
pinga.
pinga.
Awesome.
Perfect, brother.